Alone on the plains, Eliza clutched her newborn twins tightly against the biting wind. Her wagon train had abandoned her, saying she was a burden. No allies. No plan. Just endless snow and a vast, empty horizon. She stood in despair, feeling utterly forsaken. But then, through the swirling snow, 2 Apache hunters emerged, silent, observant, and focused on her plight. Fear filled her heart. But destiny had other plans. Before we begin, share where you're watching from and subscribe if you believe that destiny always finds a path. The plains stretched out endlessly, a blanket of white snow covering everything. There was no shelter, no food, and very little hope. Eliza felt the weight of her situation pressing down on her. Her babies, small and fragile, needed warmth and food. She wrapped them tighter in the blanket she had, hoping it would keep them safe from the biting cold. She remembered her husband, who had died weeks before. He was strong and kind, always knowing what to do. Without him, she felt lost. Her mind raced with thoughts of what to do next. She had few supplies, and with each passing hour, the cold seeped deeper into her bones. Eliza knew she had to find shelter. The open plains offered no protection from the wind, and night would soon fall. She looked around, hoping to find something, anything that could help. But there was nothing but snow and the distant line of trees far away. Her heart sank further as she realized the extent of her isolation. As she stood there, clutching her children, she thought she saw movement in the distance. Her heart skipped a beat. It could be animals, she thought, or maybe even other people. Her eyes strained to see through the falling snow. Slowly, 2 figures emerged, moving closer with each step. They were not part of her group, that much was clear. Eliza's heart raced. She was alone with her babies, and the figures were getting closer. She had heard stories of danger on the plains, of people who would take advantage of others in need. Fear gripped her, but she knew she couldn't run. There was nowhere to hide, and she was too weak to fight. As the figures approached, she could see they were 2 men dressed warmly against the cold. They moved with purpose, but not with aggression. Her fear mixed with a sliver of hope. Maybe they could help. She had no choice but to wait and see. The 2 men stopped a few feet away, observing her with curious eyes. They were Apache hunters, she realized, from their clothes and the way they carried themselves. Their presence was intimidating, but they showed no signs of hostility. Eliza stood frozen, unsure of what to say or do. The men spoke to each other in a language she did not understand. Then one of them stepped forward, his eyes softening as he looked at her and her children. He gestured, pointing to his mouth, then to her and the babies. She understood he was asking if they needed food. Relief washed over her, mixed with caution. She nodded, hoping they understood. The man smiled slightly and reached into a bag he carried. He pulled out some dried meat and offered it to her. Eliza hesitated, then took it, grateful for the gesture. The food was tough but nourishing, and she quickly fed a small piece to each of her babies, saving the rest for later. The other man approached then, pointing to the sky and then the ground, mimicking a shelter with his hands. Eliza understood they wanted to help her find a place to stay for the night. Her heart lifted a little at their offer. She nodded again, tears of gratitude filling her eyes. Together, they set off across the plains. The men walked on either side of her, their presence both reassuring and strange. Eliza tried to keep her fear at bay, focusing on the immediate needs of her children. Her steps were slow and careful, the snow crunching underfoot. The journey was short, but it felt like hours. They led her to a small grove of trees, providing some break from the relentless wind. The men worked quickly, gathering branches and arranging them into a simple shelter. Eliza watched, amazed at their skill and efficiency. She had never seen anything like it. Once the shelter was built, they gestured for her to sit inside. It was cramped but warm, and she was grateful for the protection it offered. The men started a small fire outside, its warmth reaching into the shelter. Eliza held her babies close, feeling the heat spread through her cold limbs. As night fell, the world outside the shelter grew dark and silent. The wind howled, but inside there was a sense of safety. Eliza listened to the crackle of the fire, her heart slowing from its earlier panic. The men sat nearby, their presence a quiet comfort. She wondered about their lives, about what had brought them to her. She wanted to ask but knew the language barrier would make it difficult. Instead, she offered them a smile, hoping they understood her gratitude. The night was long, but Eliza did not feel alone. The hunters kept watch, making sure the fire stayed lit and the shelter held. She watched them through the flickering light, their faces calm and focused. In their company, she felt a flicker of hope rekindle in her heart. Morning came, bringing light and a new sense of purpose. Eliza knew there was much to do, but she also knew she was not alone. The Apache hunters had shown her kindness when she needed it most. She watched as they prepared to move again, gesturing for her to follow. With a deep breath, Eliza gathered her children and stood. She felt stronger, more determined. The plains were vast and cold, but she was not defeated. She would follow these men, learn from them, and find a way to survive. Together, they set off into the snow, leaving behind the past and stepping into an uncertain future. Eliza woke to the cold light of dawn. The sky was clear and the wind had calmed. Her babies stirred in her arms, their small faces peaceful in sleep. She stretched her stiff limbs, careful not to disturb them. Outside the shelter, the two Apache hunters were already awake, tending to the fire and preparing for the day. Chayton, the taller of the two, looked up and nodded as she emerged from the shelter. His eyes were kind, and his gestures were calm. Tala, his companion, was quieter, focused on packing their few belongings. Eliza felt a sense of urgency from them. They needed to move to find better shelter and more food. Eliza knew she had to trust these men. They had saved her and her children, offering help when she had none. Her heart still held some fear, but it was mixed with gratitude. She watched as they communicated with gestures and simple words, trying to bridge the gap between their worlds. Chayton pointed toward the horizon, where a line of trees marked the edge of a forest. Tala mimicked the action of building, showing her they would find or make a better shelter there. Eliza nodded, understanding their plan. The forest promised more protection from the elements, and perhaps food and water. The group set off, Eliza carrying her twins wrapped tightly against her chest. The snow crunched underfoot, and her breath formed small clouds in the cold air. Chayton led the way, his steps sure and confident. Tala followed close behind, watching their surroundings with keen eyes. The journey was slow. Eliza's legs were weak from days of little food and rest. She pushed on, driven by the need to keep her children safe. The hunters moved with ease, their movements fluid and practiced. They guided her gently, offering support when she stumbled. As they walked, the landscape began to change. The open plains gave way to sparse trees, their branches heavy with snow. The forest was near, a dark line against the white of the plains. Eliza felt her spirits lift at the sight. The trees would break the wind and provide materials for a more permanent shelter. When they reached the edge of the forest, the group paused. Chayton and Tala spoke in low voices, scanning the area. Eliza watched them, sensing their tension. She knew the forest could hold dangers, but it was also their best chance for survival. The hunters led her deeper into the woods where the trees grew thicker and the ground was less covered in snow. They moved carefully, searching for signs of wildlife and good places to set up camp. Eliza followed, trying to learn from their actions. Soon, they found a small clearing sheltered by a circle of tall pines. The ground was dry and the trees formed a natural barrier against the wind. Chayton and Tala set to work immediately, gathering branches and fallen logs. Eliza watched, then joined in, her hands numb from the cold. Together, they built a sturdy lean-to, large enough for Eliza and the babies to sleep in. The hunters showed her how to weave branches together for insulation, creating a warm, dry space inside. Eliza marveled at their skill and speed. She had never seen such efficient teamwork. With the shelter complete, Tala left to hunt. Chayton stayed behind, tending to the fire and showing Eliza where to find water. He led her to a nearby stream, its surface partially frozen but still flowing beneath the ice. Eliza filled a small pot, grateful for the fresh water. Back at camp, Chayton taught her how to use the fire to melt snow, a skill that would be invaluable in the days to come. Eliza listened carefully, eager to learn anything that could help her children. She felt a growing respect for these men and their knowledge of the land. Tala returned as the sun began to set, carrying a brace of small rabbits. Eliza's stomach growled at the sight, and she realized how hungry she was. Tala quickly prepared the rabbits, showing her how to skin and cook them over the fire. The smell of roasting meat filled the air, warming Eliza's heart and body. As they ate, the hunters shared more of their language with her, teaching her simple words and phrases. Eliza repeated them, her tongue stumbling over the unfamiliar sounds. They laughed gently, encouraging her efforts. It was a small connection, but it made her feel less alone. Eliza thought about her children, sleeping peacefully by the fire. They seemed stronger today, their cheeks flushed with warmth. The hunters' help had given them a chance to survive. She felt a deep gratitude mixed with a desire to repay their kindness. As darkness fell, the group settled into their shelter. The night was cold, but the fire burned brightly, casting flickering shadows around them. Eliza lay awake for a long time listening to the sounds of the forest. She felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in weeks, a feeling that perhaps they would make it through this ordeal. The next day brought new challenges. The hunters had decided to stay in this spot for a few days to rest and gather supplies. Tala set out early to hunt while Chayton took Eliza through the forest, teaching her to identify useful plants and herbs. Eliza was amazed by the wealth of knowledge Chayton shared. He showed her how to find roots that could be eaten, berries that would ripen in the spring, and plants with medicinal properties. She listened carefully, committing each lesson to memory. As the days passed, Eliza grew more comfortable in the forest. The hunter's presence was a constant source of support, their patience never wavering. She learned to trust them, to rely on their guidance and wisdom. Her fear gradually faded, replaced by respect and gratitude. Eliza's heart ached with the loss of her old life, but she began to see a future here, among the trees and with these new companions. She watched her children thrive, their laughter a balm to her weary soul. Each day brought new challenges, but also new hope. As the sun set on another day, Eliza sat by the fire, her children asleep beside her. Chayton and Tala spoke softly, planning their next move. Eliza knew they would continue their journey soon, but she felt ready. She had learned much from these men, and she was determined to survive for her children and for herself. The forest, once a place of fear and uncertainty, had become a home, a place of learning and growth. Eliza felt a deep sense of gratitude for the hunters who had saved her, who had shown her a new way to live. She looked at them, her heart full of hope and determination. Together, they would face whatever lay ahead. The future was uncertain, but Eliza was no longer alone. She had found strength in the kindness of strangers, and she was ready to embrace the challenges of the days to come. Eliza woke to the sound of birds chirping in the trees. The forest was coming alive with the light of dawn. Her babies were still asleep, their small bodies warm against hers. She felt a sense of calm, a rare moment of peace in the midst of their uncertainty. Chayton was already awake, tending to the fire and preparing for the day. Tala was nearby, checking their supplies and planning the next hunt. Eliza watched them, feeling a mixture of gratitude and unease. Despite their kindness, she struggled with the stories she had heard as a settler, stories that painted native people in a negative light. These thoughts were hard to shake. They lingered in her mind, clashing with the reality of the help she had received. She wondered why she felt this way, why the old fears still clung to her heart. She knew she was safe with Chayton and Tala, yet doubt crept in at times. The hunters seemed to sense her unease. Chayton approached her, speaking softly and using gestures to communicate. He pointed to the sky and then to his heart, trying to express that they meant no harm. Eliza nodded, understanding his intent but still fighting her internal conflict. Over the next few days, the hunters made an effort to teach her their language. They started with simple words, naming objects around them: fire, water, tree. Eliza repeated them, her tongue stumbling over the unfamiliar sounds. Chayton and Tala were patient, correcting her gently and encouraging her progress. As they worked together, Eliza began to feel more at ease. The language lessons became a bridge between them, a way to connect and share their worlds. She found herself laughing at her mistakes, the tension in her heart slowly easing. One evening, as they sat around the fire, Tala shared a story. He spoke in his language, using gestures to convey the tale. Eliza watched, captivated by the rhythm of his words and the expressions on his face. Through Chayton's translations and Tala's actions, she understood the story was about loss and resilience, themes she knew all too well. Tala spoke of his family, of how they had faced the harshness of the land and the loss that came with it. Eliza felt a connection to his story, a shared understanding of grief and survival. Her heart softened, her fears fading as she realized their struggles were not so different from her own. The hunter's kindness and resilience inspired her. They had faced adversity and had chosen to help her despite their own hardships. Eliza felt a growing respect for them, for their wisdom and strength. She knew she had much to learn from them, not just about survival, but about trust and community. The days passed and Eliza found herself more involved in their daily routines. She helped gather wood for the fire, learned to recognize useful plants, and even tried her hand at setting traps for small game. Chayton and Tala guided her, showing her the skills she needed to survive in the wilderness. Eliza felt her confidence growing. She was no longer the frightened woman left behind on the plains. The forest had become a place of learning and healing, a place where she could rebuild her life. Her children were thriving, their laughter a constant source of joy. She was grateful for the chance to start anew, even if it meant embracing the unknown. One afternoon, as they prepared to move to a new location, Eliza noticed Chayton and Tala speaking in hushed tones. Their expressions were serious, their eyes scanning the forest. Eliza felt a pang of worry, wondering what had caused their concern. Chaitin approached her, gesturing for her to follow. He led her to a nearby hill, where they could see the surrounding area. Tala pointed to a distant column of smoke rising into the sky. It was not from their fire, and it was too far to be a natural occurrence. Eliza's heart quickened. The smoke could mean many things. Another group of travelers, a forest fire, or something else entirely. She looked to the hunters for guidance, trusting their experience and knowledge of the land. Chaitin explained, using simple words and gestures, that they needed to be cautious. The smoke could signal danger, but it could also be an opportunity to find others who might help. He asked for her decision whether to approach or avoid it. Eliza thought about the risks and the safety of her children. She felt torn, knowing that staying put was not an option if there was a threat nearby. She also knew that they needed more supplies, and meeting others could provide that chance. After weighing her options, Eliza agreed to approach the smoke with caution. She trusted Chaitin and Tala, knowing they would not lead her into danger. The decision made, they packed their belongings and set off through the forest. The journey was tense, each step filled with uncertainty. Eliza kept her children close, her eyes scanning the trees for any signs of movement. The hunters moved with purpose, their senses alert to any changes in their surroundings. As they drew closer to the smoke, Eliza felt her nerves tighten. The forest was quiet, the only sounds their footsteps and the occasional rustle of leaves. She wondered what they would find if the smoke meant friends or foes. They approached the source of the smoke with caution, staying hidden among the trees. Eliza's heart pounded as they peered from their cover. In a small clearing, she saw a group of people gathered around a fire. They were not settlers, but another group of Apache. Relief washed over her as she realized they were not alone. Tala and Chaitin stepped forward, speaking in their language to the group. Eliza watched, hoping they would be welcomed. The other Apache responded with curiosity, their expressions a mix of surprise and interest. The hunters explained Eliza's situation, their gestures and words conveying her story. She stood quietly, aware of the eyes upon her. Her heart raced, but she felt a sense of hope. This new group could provide the help they needed, the support to start anew. After a moment, one of the Apache, an elder with wise eyes, approached her. He spoke softly, his tone gentle and welcoming. Eliza did not understand his words, but his intent was clear. She felt a warmth spread through her, a sense of belonging she had not felt in a long time. The group welcomed them, offering food and a place by the fire. Eliza felt her fears dissolve, replaced by gratitude and relief. She knew there would be challenges ahead, but for now, they were safe. The forest, once a place of danger, had become a home. As the night deepened, Eliza sat by the fire with her children, surrounded by her new companions. She felt a sense of peace, a hope for the future. The world was still uncertain, but she was no longer alone. With the help of the Apache, she could face whatever lay ahead. Eliza spent her first night with the Apache group near the warmth of the fire. Her children were asleep, wrapped in the new blankets they had received. The air was filled with the soft murmur of conversation, and she felt a sense of calm she hadn't known for a long time. The fear and uncertainty she had carried began to fade, replaced by a cautious optimism. Early in the morning, the camp came alive with activity. Eliza watched as the Apache prepared for the day. They moved with purpose, each person knowing their role and task. Chaitin and Tala were among them, speaking with the men who were planning a hunt. Eliza stood on the edge of the group, observing and learning. The elder, whose name was Neshoba, approached her with a gentle smile. He gestured for her to join him, leading her to a spot where others were gathered. Through simple words and gestures, he explained that they would be moving to a larger camp deeper in the forest. There, they would have better resources and more protection from the cold. Eliza nodded, understanding the need to move. The forest was vast, and a larger camp meant more safety and supplies. She felt a twinge of anxiety at the thought of traveling again, but she trusted Neshoba and the others who had welcomed her so kindly. The group prepared to leave, packing their belongings with practiced efficiency. Eliza gathered her things, grateful for the few extra items the Apache had given her. Her children, now awake, clung to her sides, their eyes wide with curiosity. She reassured them with soft words, reminding them that they were safe. As they set off, Eliza walked beside Neshoba, who pointed out landmarks and explained their journey. He spoke slowly, teaching her more of his language, and she did her best to follow. The words were still new to her, but she was determined to learn. It was a way to connect, to show her respect and willingness to be part of their community. The walk through the forest was long but steady. The trees provided shelter from the wind and the sun peeked through the branches, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Eliza felt stronger than she had in weeks, her steps more confident with each passing hour. Along the way, Neshoba showed her how to find edible plants and roots, teaching her what to look for and what to avoid. Eliza listened carefully, aware of how crucial this knowledge was for her survival. She practiced identifying the plants, feeling a sense of satisfaction when she got it right. The group paused at a stream to rest and refill their water supplies. Eliza felt the cool water on her hands and face, refreshing and invigorating. Her children splashed and played nearby, their laughter echoing through the trees. The sound filled her with joy, a reminder of the resilience and strength they all shared. As they continued, the path grew more defined, a sign that they were nearing the larger camp. Eliza felt a mix of excitement and nerves, wondering what awaited them ahead. She knew this was a chance for a new beginning, a place where she could build a future for her children. When they finally arrived, Eliza saw the camp nestled in a wide clearing. It was larger than she had imagined, with many families and shelters spread out under the trees. The air buzzed with activity, children playing and adults working together, their movements seamless and coordinated. The group was welcomed warmly with greetings and smiles from those who had arrived before them. Eliza felt a wave of relief, knowing they had reached a safe haven. Her children were quickly surrounded by other youngsters, their shyness melting away in the face of new friends. Neshoba introduced her to Ayana, a kind woman who offered to show her around. Ayana spoke softly, her words full of warmth and understanding. She led Eliza through the camp, explaining the routines and introducing her to others. Eliza felt a connection with Ayana, grateful for her guidance and friendship. Eliza quickly settled into the rhythm of camp life. She learned to help with daily tasks, gathering firewood, preparing food, and caring for the children. Ayana taught her how to weave baskets and mend clothes, skills that were both practical and rewarding. As the days passed, Eliza grew more comfortable in her surroundings. She felt a sense of belonging, a feeling she had not expected to find. The Apache had welcomed her as one of their own, and she was determined to contribute and learn as much as she could. Her relationship with Chayton deepened as well. They spent time together, sharing stories and laughter. Chayton was patient, teaching her the ways of the forest and the values of his people. Eliza admired his strength and wisdom, finding comfort in his presence. Despite the challenges they faced, Eliza felt hopeful. The camp was a community, a place where everyone worked together for the common good. She saw her children thrive, their health and happiness growing each day. One evening, as the sun set and the camp gathered around the fire, Eliza reflected on her journey. She thought of the plains where she had been left behind, the fear and despair that had once filled her heart. She had come a long way, and she was grateful for the kindness and generosity of the Apache who had taken her in. The future was still uncertain, but Eliza knew she was not alone. She had found strength in the community, a new family to support her and her children. As she sat by the fire, surrounded by laughter and friendship, she felt a sense of peace. Eliza knew there would be more challenges to face, but she was ready. With the help of her new friends and the skills she had learned, she felt equipped to handle whatever came next. The forest, once a place of fear, had become her home. She was no longer a stranger, but a part of something greater, a community united by hope and resilience. Eliza woke to the gentle sounds of the camp starting its day. The soft rustling of fabric, the quiet chatter of voices, and the crackling of fires being lit for breakfast filled the air. Her children still slept, nestled under their blankets, their faces peaceful and relaxed. She watched them for a moment, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for their safety and well-being. The larger camp had become a new home for Eliza and her children. The Apache community had welcomed them with open arms, and she was slowly becoming part of their world. Each day brought new lessons and experiences, and she felt herself growing stronger and more capable. Eliza stepped outside her shelter, the crisp morning air refreshing on her face. She joined the other women who were busy preparing food for the day. Ayana greeted her with a warm smile, handing her a basket of corn to grind. The work was rhythmic and soothing, a chance for Eliza to reflect on how far she had come. As she worked, she thought about her journey. The fear and uncertainty of the plains seemed distant now, replaced by the comfort and stability of the camp. She had found a new way to live, one that was connected to the land and the people around her. Her children were thriving, their laughter and play a constant source of joy. Later in the day, Neshoba called a meeting of the camp. The people gathered in a large circle, the atmosphere one of anticipation. Eliza sat with Ayana, curious about what the elder would say. Neshoba spoke with calm authority, addressing the group and sharing news from other camps. Through Chayton's translations, Eliza learned that there had been sightings of settlers nearby. The news brought a mix of reactions from the group. Some were concerned while others were indifferent. For Eliza, the news stirred complex emotions. She thought of the life she had left behind, the world she had once known. Neshoba emphasized the importance of caution and respect. He reminded the group that while the settlers were not immediate threats, it was wise to be aware and prepared. The camp would continue its daily life, but with an extra layer of vigilance. Eliza felt a pang of anxiety at the thought of settlers so close. She wondered if they were from her old wagon train, if they were people she might have known. Her heart ached with uncertainty, but she trusted Neshoba's wisdom and the community's strength. The meeting ended and the camp returned to its activities. Eliza felt a mix of emotions, gratitude for the safety of the camp and a lingering unease about the settlers. She knew she had to focus on the present, to be there for her children and contribute to the community. As the day went on, Eliza joined Chayton and Tala on a trip to gather supplies from the forest. They moved through the trees with practiced ease, their steps sure and confident. Eliza followed, her senses attuned to the sights and sounds around her. Chayton showed her how to identify animal tracks, teaching her to read the signs of the forest. Eliza was fascinated by his knowledge, eager to learn and understand more. The forest had become a place of discovery for her, a source of life and sustenance. They returned to camp with their bounty, the fruits of their labor a testament to their teamwork and skill. Eliza felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing she was contributing to the well-being of the community. Her children greeted her with hugs and stories of their day, their joy infectious and uplifting. As evening fell, the camp gathered for a communal meal. The air was filled with the aroma of cooking, the warmth of the fire creating a cozy atmosphere. Eliza sat with her children and friends, feeling the strength of the bonds she had formed. Neshoba spoke again, sharing stories and wisdom with the group. Eliza listened, absorbing the lessons and values of the Apache people. She admired their resilience and unity, qualities that had become her own guiding principles. After the meal, Eliza sat by the fire, her children asleep beside her. She thought about the settlers, the unknown future, and the life she had built here. She realized that she had found a new sense of belonging, a place where she could be herself and thrive. Eliza knew there would be challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. The camp had become her family, a community bound by trust and mutual support. She was no longer the frightened woman left behind on the plains. She was part of something greater, a network of relationships and connections that gave her strength and purpose. As the fire crackled and the stars appeared in the night sky, Eliza felt a deep peace settle over her. The future was still uncertain, but she embraced it with hope and confidence. She had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find joy in the present and look forward to what lay ahead. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. Eliza had come a long way and she was proud of the woman she had become. She knew that whatever the future held, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. Eliza awoke to the soft sounds of the camp stirring. The sun was just rising, casting a warm glow over the trees. Her children were still asleep, their small bodies curled up under the blankets. She watched them for a moment, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for their safety and well-being. The camp had become a place of comfort and belonging for Eliza. The Apache community had welcomed her and her children, offering friendship and support. She had learned so much from them, not just about survival, but about resilience and strength. As she stepped outside her shelter, the cool morning air filled her lungs. She joined Ayana and the other women who were preparing breakfast. The routine was familiar and comforting, a chance for Eliza to connect with her new friends. Ayana greeted her with a warm smile, handing her a bowl of corn to grind. Eliza set to work, her hands moving with practiced ease. She and Ayana chatted as they worked, their conversation a mix of Apache and English. Eliza was getting better at the language, her vocabulary growing each day. After breakfast, Eliza spent time with her children, watching them play with the other kids in the camp. Their laughter filled the air, a joyful reminder of how far they had come. Her heart swelled with pride at their resilience and adaptability. Later in the day, Eliza joined Chayton and Tala on a trip to gather firewood. The forest was alive with the sounds of birds and the rustling of leaves. Eliza felt a sense of peace as she walked through the trees, the beauty of the natural world surrounding her. Chayton showed her how to identify the best wood for burning, teaching her how to gather it efficiently. Eliza listened carefully, eager to learn and contribute. The forest had become a place of discovery for her, a source of life and sustenance. As they worked, Chayton and Eliza talked about their lives and experiences. She shared stories of her past, of her life before the plains, and the challenges she had faced. Chayton listened with empathy, offering his own stories in return. Eliza felt a growing connection with Chayton, a bond forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. She admired his strength and wisdom, finding comfort in his presence. He had become a trusted friend, someone she could rely on. When they returned to camp, Eliza helped prepare the evening meal. The air was filled with the aroma of cooking, the warmth of the fire creating a cozy atmosphere. Eliza felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing she was contributing to the well-being of the community. After the meal, Eliza sat with Ayana and some of the other women, learning traditional crafts. Ayana showed her how to weave baskets, guiding her hands with patience and care. Eliza enjoyed the quiet focus of the work, the rhythm of the weaving soothing and meditative. As the evening wore on, the camp gathered around the fire. Neshoba, the elder, shared stories and wisdom with the group. Eliza listened, absorbing the lessons and values of the Apache people. She admired their resilience and unity, qualities that had become her own guiding principles. Neshoba spoke of the importance of community and connection, of supporting one another through challenges and celebrating successes. His words resonated with Eliza, reminding her of the strength and support she had found in the camp. As the fire crackled and the stars appeared in the night sky, Eliza felt a deep peace settle over her. She thought about her journey, the fear and uncertainty she had once known. She had come a long way, and she was grateful for the people who had helped her along the way. Her relationship with Chayton had deepened, marked by mutual respect and growing affection. She felt a sense of warmth and comfort in his presence, a feeling she hadn't known since losing her husband. It was a new beginning, a chance for happiness and connection. Eliza knew there would be challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. The camp had become her family, a community bound by trust and mutual support. She was no longer the frightened woman left behind on the plains. She was part of something greater, a network of relationships and connections that gave her strength and purpose. As the night wore on, Eliza sat by the fire, her children asleep beside her. She thought about the settlers, the unknown future, and the life she had built here. She realized that she had found a new sense of belonging, a place where she could be herself and thrive. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. Eliza had come a long way, and she was proud of the woman she had become. She knew that whatever the future held, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. As she lay down to sleep, Eliza felt a sense of contentment and peace. The future was still uncertain, but she embraced it with hope and confidence. She had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find joy in the present and look forward to what lay ahead. In the quiet of the night, Eliza knew she was not alone. She had found strength in the community, a new family to support her and her children. Together, they would face whatever challenges came their way, united by hope and resilience. Eliza woke to a morning filled with the sounds of the camp coming to life. The air was crisp, and the sky was clear. Her children were already up, playing with their friends. Their laughter echoed through the trees, a joyful melody that warmed her heart. The camp bustled with activity. People moved with purpose, tending to their daily tasks. Eliza joined Ayana to help prepare breakfast, a routine she had come to enjoy. The simple act of grinding corn and cooking over the fire grounded her, connecting her to the community that had become her home. Today was different, though. There was a sense of tension in the air, a feeling that something was amiss. Eliza noticed the elders speaking in hushed tones, their faces marked with concern. She felt a flutter of worry but pushed it aside, focusing on her tasks. After breakfast, Neshoba called a meeting of the camp. The people gathered in a large circle, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation. Eliza sat with Ayana, her heart pounding as she awaited the elders' words. Neshoba spoke with calm authority, explaining that there had been a conflict between settlers and another nearby Apache group. The details were unclear, but it was enough to raise concerns for their safety. The news sent a ripple of unease through the crowd. Eliza felt a knot form in her stomach. She thought of the settlers she had left behind, wondering if this conflict involved them. Her heart ached with the uncertainty of it all, the fear of what could happen next. Neshoba emphasized the importance of unity and vigilance. He urged the camp to stay alert and support each other through the challenges ahead. His words were steady and reassuring, a reminder of the strength they held as a community. After the meeting, Eliza joined Chayton and Tala to discuss what they could do. Chayton suggested increasing the patrols around the camp, ensuring that they were prepared for any potential threats. Tala agreed, adding that they should also reach out to other Apache groups to gather more information. Eliza listened, feeling a mix of fear and determination. She wanted to help, to protect the people who had become her family. She knew she could not stand by and do nothing. With a plan in place, the camp returned to its daily activities, but the sense of unease lingered. Eliza felt it in the way people moved, their eyes scanning the trees for any sign of danger. It was a reminder of the fragile peace they had built, the delicate balance they had to maintain. In the days that followed, Eliza did her part to contribute. She joined the women in preparing supplies, ensuring they had enough food and blankets in case they needed to move quickly. She learned how to make simple herbal remedies from Ayana, skills that could be invaluable if someone were injured. Eliza also spent time with Chaitan, accompanying him on patrols around the camp. They walked the perimeter, their eyes and ears attuned to the forest. Eliza felt a sense of purpose in these moments, a determination to protect the life they had built together. As they patrolled, Chaitan shared stories of his people, tales of resilience and courage. Eliza listened, feeling a deep connection to the land and its history. She realized that she was part of something greater, a legacy of strength and survival. One afternoon, as they returned from a patrol, they encountered a group of Apache from another camp. The men spoke quickly, their expressions serious. Chaitan translated for Eliza, explaining that the conflict with the settlers was escalating. They needed to be prepared for anything. The news was sobering, a reminder of the challenges they faced. Eliza felt a renewed sense of urgency, a commitment to do whatever it took to protect her family. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but she was ready to face it with courage and determination. Back at camp, the atmosphere was tense but resolute. The people worked together, supporting each other and preparing for the unknown. Eliza was inspired by their strength, their willingness to stand united in the face of adversity. As night fell, the camp gathered around the fire. Neshoba spoke again, his words carrying the weight of wisdom and experience. He reminded them of their ancestors, of the trials they had overcome. His voice was steady, instilling a sense of hope and resilience in all who listened. Eliza sat with her children, their small faces illuminated by the flickering flames. She felt a deep sense of love for them, a fierce determination to keep them safe. She knew the path ahead would be difficult, but she was not alone. The camp was her family, a community bound by trust and mutual support. Chaitan sat beside her, his presence a source of comfort and strength. They shared a quiet moment, their bond deepening with each passing day. Eliza felt a sense of peace, knowing they would face whatever challenges came their way together. As the night wore on, Eliza thought about the journey that had brought her here. She had faced fear and uncertainty, but she had also found love and belonging. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. Eliza knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. She had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find joy in the present and strength in the community that had embraced her. The future was uncertain, but Eliza embraced it with hope and confidence. She knew that whatever lay ahead, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. Together, they would overcome any obstacle, united by resilience and hope. Winter settled over the camp, bringing with it biting winds and heavy snow. The forest, once vibrant and alive, was now silent and still. Eliza watched her breath form small clouds in the cold air as she stepped outside her shelter. Her children were bundled up, their cheeks rosy and eyes bright with excitement as they played in the snow. The camp had prepared well for the winter, gathering food and supplies to last through the harsh months. Still, the cold was relentless and everyone felt its weight. Eliza joined the other women in the morning, helping to prepare warm meals over the fire. The routine was comforting, a reminder of the community's strength and resilience. Despite their preparations, winter brought challenges. The food stores dwindled faster than expected and illness swept through the camp. Eliza worked alongside Ayana, tending to the sick and ensuring everyone stayed warm and fed. She learned to make herbal teas and poultices, remedies passed down through generations. Eliza's heart ached with worry as she cared for the ill. She knew how quickly a simple cold could become something more serious. Her children's health was her top priority, and she did everything she could to keep them safe and strong. One night, as the wind howled outside, Eliza noticed that her youngest child, Lily, was unusually quiet. She touched Lily's forehead and felt the heat of a fever. Panic gripped her heart, but she forced herself to stay calm. She knew she had to act quickly. Eliza wrapped Lily in a blanket and carried her to Ayana's shelter. Ayana took one look at the child and nodded, understanding the urgency. Together, they prepared a mixture of herbs and warm water, a remedy to bring down the fever. As Ayana tended to Lily, Eliza sat by her side, whispering soothing words and stroking her hair. Her heart ached with worry, but she knew she was not alone. The camp rallied around her, offering support and assistance. It was a testament to the community they had built, a network of care and compassion. The night was long and tense, but by morning, the fever had broken. Lily's breathing was steady, and her eyes fluttered open. Relief washed over Eliza, tears of gratitude filling her eyes. She thanked Ayana and the others who had helped, her heart full of appreciation for their kindness. As the days passed, Lily grew stronger, her energy returning. Eliza watched her play with the other children, her laughter a balm to her weary soul. She was grateful beyond words, knowing how close they had come to losing her. The experience left Eliza more determined than ever to protect her family and contribute to the community. She redoubled her efforts, helping to gather firewood, prepare food, and care for the sick. She knew that every small act mattered, that together they could overcome the hardships of winter. Chaitan and Tala continued their patrols, ensuring the camp remained safe from outside threats. Eliza admired their dedication and bravery, their willingness to face the elements to protect their people. She felt a deep connection to Chaitan, a bond that had grown stronger with each passing day. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Chaitan spoke of the coming spring. He talked of the renewal it would bring, the promise of new life and opportunities. His words filled Eliza with hope, a reminder that winter would not last forever. Eliza thought about the journey that had brought her here, the fear and uncertainty she had faced. She had found strength in the community, a new family that had embraced her and her children. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. As the weeks passed, the camp settled into a routine. The cold remained, but the community adapted, finding ways to stay warm and nourished. Eliza found comfort in the simple tasks of daily life, the rhythm of work and rest a steadying force. One afternoon, as she gathered wood with Ayana, Eliza noticed the first signs of spring. A patch of green poked through the snow, a promise of warmer days ahead. Her heart lifted at the sight, a reminder of the resilience of nature and the hope of renewal. The camp celebrated the small victories, the moments of joy that punctuated the long winter. Eliza cherished these times, the laughter and companionship that filled the air. She knew that together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the days grew longer and the snow began to melt, Eliza felt a sense of anticipation. The forest would soon awaken, bringing new life and opportunities. She looked forward to the future, confident in her ability to navigate whatever came next. Eliza had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find strength in the community and joy in the present. She was no longer the frightened woman left behind on the plains. She was part of something greater, a network of relationships and connections that gave her purpose and belonging. The future was uncertain, but Eliza embraced it with hope and confidence. She knew that whatever lay ahead, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. The forest was her home, a place of healing and growth, and she was ready to embrace the possibilities it held. As winter's grip began to loosen, the camp came alive with the promise of spring. The snow melted, revealing patches of green. Birds returned, their songs filling the air with a melody of renewal. Eliza felt a sense of excitement, a hope for new beginnings. The camp prepared for a festival to celebrate the arrival of spring. It was a time to give thanks for the survival of the winter and to welcome the new season. Eliza, along with the other women, worked hard to prepare food and decorations. The atmosphere was bustling, with everyone contributing to the preparations. Eliza watched her children play, their laughter infectious and bright. They chased each other through the camp, their energy boundless. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for their health and happiness. They had come through the winter stronger, and she marveled at their resilience. Chaitan was busy too, helping to set up areas for dancing and storytelling. He moved with purpose, his face lit with anticipation. Eliza admired his leadership, his ability to bring people together in celebration and joy. He had become an essential part of her life, a source of strength and support. As the day of the festival approached, Eliza reflected on her journey. She thought about the fear and uncertainty she had once felt, the challenges she had faced. She had found a new family here, a community that had embraced her and her children. The forest had become her home, a place of healing and growth. On the morning of the festival, the camp was alive with excitement. People gathered, their faces bright with smiles. The air was filled with the aroma of cooking, the warmth of the fires creating a cozy atmosphere. Eliza felt a sense of belonging, a connection to the people who had become her family. The festival began with a ceremony led by Neshoba. He spoke of the changing seasons, the cycle of life and renewal. His words were filled with wisdom and gratitude, a reminder of the strength and resilience of their community. Eliza listened, her heart full of appreciation for the life she had built here. After the ceremony, the camp erupted into celebration. There was dancing and singing, the sounds of drums echoing through the trees. Eliza joined in, her movements light and joyful. She felt free, unburdened by the past, her spirit lifted by the music and laughter around her. Chaitan danced beside her, his eyes bright with happiness. The bond between them had grown stronger, a connection forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. Eliza felt a warmth in her heart, a deep affection for the man who had become her partner and friend. As the sun set, the camp gathered around the fire for a feast. The food was plentiful, a testament to their hard work and cooperation. Eliza ate with gratitude, savoring the flavors and the company. She felt a deep sense of peace, a contentment that came from knowing she was part of something greater. After the meal, the storytelling began. Neshoba and the other elders shared tales of the past, stories of courage and survival. Eliza listened, captivated by the lessons and values woven into each narrative. She realized that she was part of this legacy, a contributor to the stories that would one day be told. The children huddled close, their eyes wide with wonder. Eliza watched them, her heart swelling with pride. They were learning the ways of the Apache, growing up in a community that valued connection and tradition. She knew they would carry these lessons with them, shaping their future and their place in the world. As the night wore on, Eliza sat by the fire, her children asleep beside her. She thought about the journey that had brought her here, the challenges she had overcome. She had found strength in the community, a new family that had embraced her and her children. Eliza knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. She had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find joy in the present and strength in the community that had embraced her. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. The future was uncertain, but Eliza embraced it with hope and confidence. She knew that whatever lay ahead, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. Together, they would overcome any obstacle, united by resilience and hope. As the fire crackled and the stars appeared in the night sky, Eliza felt a deep peace settle over her. She knew she was not alone. She had found strength in the community, a new family to support her and her children. Together, they would face whatever challenges came their way, united by hope and resilience. Spring brought new life and energy to the camp. The forest was lush and green, filled with the sounds of birds and the rustle of leaves. The air was warm, a welcome change from the cold of winter. Eliza felt rejuvenated, her spirit lifted by the beauty of the season. The camp was busy with activity. People planted seeds, tended to their shelters, and prepared for the months ahead. Eliza joined in, eager to contribute and make the most of the opportunities spring offered. Her children played nearby, their laughter a joyful soundtrack to the work being done. One day, as Eliza gathered herbs with Ayana, a messenger arrived at the camp. He carried news from a nearby settlement, a place where settlers were rebuilding after a harsh winter. Eliza's heart skipped a beat. She wondered if they were from her old wagon train, if they were people she might have known. The messenger spoke of an opportunity for trade and cooperation. The settlers were looking for allies, people who could help them and share in the bounty of the land. Neshoba listened carefully, weighing the possibilities and risks. The camp had to decide whether to engage with the settlers or remain isolated. Eliza felt a mix of emotions. The idea of reconnecting with the world she had left behind was both exciting and daunting. She thought of the life she had built here, the community that had become her family. Yet, the chance to help others and build new relationships was tempting. Neshoba called a meeting to discuss the situation. The camp gathered in a circle, the atmosphere filled with curiosity and concern. Eliza sat with Ayana, listening as Neshoba explained the news and the choices before them. Some in the camp were cautious, wary of the settlers and their intentions. They valued the peace and independence they had here, fearing that outsiders might disrupt their way of life. Others saw the potential for mutual benefit, a chance to learn and grow through cooperation. Eliza felt torn between these viewpoints. She understood the need for caution, the desire to protect their home and way of life. But she also felt the pull of possibility, the chance to build bridges and create something new. As the discussion continued, Eliza thought about her children and their future. She wanted them to grow up in a world that was open and connected, where they could belong to both the Apache community and the wider world. She knew it was a delicate balance, one that required trust and careful decision-making. Neshoba listened to the voices of the camp, his expression thoughtful. He turned to Eliza, asking for her perspective. Eliza took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. She spoke of the importance of connection, of finding ways to support each other while respecting their differences. She shared her own journey, the challenges she had faced and the strength she had found in both communities. She believed that cooperation could bring new opportunities, ways to learn and grow together. Her words were met with nods of understanding, a recognition of the wisdom she had gained. After much deliberation, the camp decided to reach out to the settlers. They would take cautious steps, building trust and understanding through small exchanges. Neshoba emphasized the importance of maintaining their values and traditions, ensuring that any relationship was built on mutual respect. Eliza felt a sense of relief and hope. She knew it would not be easy, but she was ready to embrace the challenge. She believed in the power of connection, the ability to find common ground and create a better future. The camp began preparations for the first meeting with the settlers. Eliza helped gather goods for trade, selecting items that showcased the skills and resources of the Apache. Chayton and Tala would accompany Neshoba, their presence a sign of strength and unity. As the day of the meeting approached, Eliza felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She thought about the possibilities, the new paths that could open up for their community. She knew it was a turning point, a chance to shape the future in meaningful ways. The morning of the meeting, the camp gathered to see Neshoba, Chayton, and Tala off. Eliza stood with Ayana, her heart racing with anticipation. She watched them disappear into the forest, their figures fading into the distance. The day seemed to stretch on endlessly as the camp awaited their return. Eliza kept busy, tending to her children and helping with daily tasks. She felt the weight of the decision they had made, the uncertainty of what lay ahead. When the group finally returned, the camp gathered eagerly to hear the news. Neshoba's face was calm, his eyes filled with a quiet confidence. He spoke of the meeting, the respectful exchange, and the willingness on both sides to work together. Eliza felt a surge of hope and pride. The first step had been taken, a foundation laid for future cooperation. She knew there would be challenges, but she believed in the strength of their community and the possibilities that lay ahead. As the camp settled down for the night, Eliza sat by the fire, her children asleep beside her. She thought about the journey that had brought her here, the choices she had made. She had found strength in the community, a new family that had embraced her and her children. Eliza knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. She had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find joy in the present and strength in the community that had embraced her. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. The future was uncertain, but Eliza embraced it with hope and confidence. She knew that whatever lay ahead, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. Together, they would overcome any obstacle, united by resilience and hope. The camp continued its routine in the days following the meeting with the settlers. People worked together, planting crops and tending to the tasks of daily life. Eliza felt a renewed sense of purpose, a belief that they were building a future filled with promise. But not all was calm. A sense of unease lingered, a shadow that passed through the community. Whispers of a rival group reached the camp, rumors of their intentions spreading quietly among the people. The threat was real, and it loomed over their newfound hope. Neshoba called a meeting to address these concerns. The camp gathered in a circle, their faces a mix of worry and determination. Eliza sat with Ayana, her heart heavy with the weight of the unknown. She listened as Neshoba spoke, his voice steady and reassuring. He explained the situation, the need to be vigilant and prepared. The rival group was known for their aggression, and they could pose a danger to the peace they had worked so hard to achieve. Neshoba emphasized the importance of unity, of standing together to protect their home. Eliza felt the tension in the air, the collective anxiety of the camp. She thought of her children, their safety her top priority. She knew they needed to act to ensure the security of their community and the future they were building. Chayton and Tala stepped forward, offering their skills and leadership. They spoke of organizing patrols and fortifying the camp, measures to deter any potential threat. Their experience and bravery inspired confidence, a reminder of their strength and resilience. Eliza volunteered to help, eager to contribute in any way she could. She joined the women in gathering supplies, preparing food and blankets for emergencies. They worked together, their hands busy with the tasks of preparation. The camp buzzed with activity, a sense of urgency driving their efforts. Eliza felt the weight of their responsibility, the need to protect what they had created. She knew it was a time for action, a time to stand together as a community. As the days passed, the camp settled into a new routine. Patrols were organized and watchful eyes scanned the forest for any signs of danger. Eliza took comfort in the presence of Chayton and Tala, their leadership a guiding force. One afternoon, while gathering herbs with Ayana, Eliza noticed a shift in the air. The forest was quiet, the usual sounds of nature absent. Her heart quickened, a sense of unease creeping over her. She shared a glance with Ayana, both women sensing something was amiss. They returned to camp quickly, their concern growing with each step. The atmosphere was tense, people moving with purpose and caution. Eliza found Chayton, his expression serious and focused. He explained that a scout had spotted members of the rival group nearby, their intentions unclear. The camp gathered for an emergency meeting, the air thick with anticipation. Neshoba spoke with calm authority, outlining their plan of action. They would strengthen their defenses and send a group to speak with the rival leaders, hoping for a peaceful resolution. Eliza felt a mix of fear and determination. She knew the risks, but she also believed in the power of dialogue and understanding. She hoped they could find a way to coexist, to build a future without conflict. As the group prepared to leave, Eliza watched Chayton and Tala join the leaders. Her heart ached with worry, but she trusted their judgment and skill. She knew they would do everything in their power to protect the camp and its people. The day seemed to stretch on endlessly as Eliza waited for their return. She kept busy, tending to her children and helping with camp duties. The uncertainty weighed heavily on her, but she remained hopeful for a peaceful outcome. When the group finally returned, their expressions were a mix of relief and resolve. Neshoba shared the news with the camp, explaining that the meeting had been tense but productive. They had reached an agreement, a tentative peace that would allow them to coexist. Eliza felt a wave of relief wash over her. The threat had not vanished, but they had taken a step toward resolution. She was proud of the community, their strength and unity a testament to their resilience. As the camp settled down for the night, Eliza reflected on the events of the day. She was grateful for the leadership of Neshoba, Chayton, and Tala, their wisdom and bravery guiding the community through uncertainty. Eliza knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready to face them. She had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find joy in the present and strength in the community that had embraced her. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. The future was uncertain, but Eliza embraced it with hope and confidence. She knew that whatever lay ahead, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. Together, they would overcome any obstacle, united by resilience and hope. Spring unfolded fully, bringing warmth and renewal to the forest. The camp thrived in the gentle embrace of the season. Flowers bloomed and the trees were lush with new leaves. Eliza felt the change in the air, a sense of optimism and hope for the future. The peace agreement with the rival group held, allowing the camp to focus on growth and well-being. Eliza watched her children play in the sun, their laughter a constant reminder of the life they had built here. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the community that had become her family. Each day, Eliza contributed to the camp's activities. She helped plant seeds, ensuring a bountiful harvest in the months to come. She worked alongside Ayana, learning more about the land and its gifts. The work was fulfilling, connecting her to the earth and the people around her. Eliza's relationship with Chayton deepened, their bond growing stronger with each shared moment. They spent time together in the evenings, talking about their hopes and dreams. Eliza found comfort in his presence, a sense of peace she had not known since losing her husband. One afternoon, as Eliza and Chayton walked through the forest, they talked about the future. Chayton spoke of his vision for the camp, a place of harmony and cooperation. Eliza shared her dreams for her children, a life filled with opportunity and connection. Their conversations filled Eliza with hope and determination. She realized that she had found a partner in Chayton, someone who shared her values and dreams. Together, they envisioned a future where their community could thrive and grow. As the days passed, Eliza felt a growing sense of belonging. The camp was not just a place to live, it was a home filled with love and support. She felt connected to the people around her, their lives intertwined in a tapestry of resilience and hope. The camp celebrated these connections with small gatherings, moments of joy and togetherness. Eliza cherished these times, the laughter and friendship that filled the air. She knew that these relationships were the foundation of their strength. One evening, as the sun set over the forest, Neshoba called everyone to the central fire. The community gathered, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Neshoba spoke of unity, of the bonds that held them together through challenges and triumphs. Eliza listened, her heart full of gratitude for the wisdom and guidance Neshoba provided. She reflected on her journey, the path that had led her to this moment. She had faced fear and uncertainty, but she had also found love and belonging. Neshoba invited Eliza to share her story with the camp. She hesitated at first, but then stood and spoke from the heart. She talked about the challenges she had faced, the strength she had found in the community, and the love that had guided her. Her words resonated with the camp, a testament to the power of resilience and hope. Eliza felt a deep sense of connection, a recognition that her story was part of a larger narrative. She was no longer an outsider, she was part of something greater. As the night wore on, Eliza sat by the fire, her children asleep beside her. She thought about the future, the possibilities that lay ahead. She had learned to trust in herself and the people around her, to find joy in the present and strength in the community that had embraced her. Eliza knew there would be more challenges, but she felt ready to face them. The forest was her home now, a place of healing and growth. She was proud of the woman she had become, the life she had built for herself and her children. The future was uncertain, but Eliza embraced it with hope and confidence. She knew that whatever lay ahead, she would face it with courage and determination, surrounded by the love and support of her new family. Together, they would overcome any obstacle, united by resilience and hope. As the stars appeared in the night sky, Eliza felt a deep peace settle over her. She was grateful for the journey, for the strength and love she had found along the way. The forest was her sanctuary, a place where she could be herself and thrive. Eliza knew that she was not alone. She had found a community that supported her, a family that cherished her. Together, they would face whatever challenges came their way, united by a shared vision of a better future. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.